was working with an entrepreneur early in my career, and this was in the late 90s, and he created what was an internet incubator in 1999, and I was running around with him and a couple of his portfolio companies trying to get follow-on financing for them, and ended up at Hearst, and they passed on investing in this particular company, but what I did was went back to them when the incubator had not taken off and said, I am looking to get into working with startups, either at a startup or with a venture capital firm. Please keep me in mind. I know you guys know everybody in New York City. And sure enough, they were looking for someone, and that was 19 years ago. So I've been with Hearst for a very long time now. The nice thing about doing venture at Hearst is it's very clear that the corporation has a long-term commitment to innovation. The company is 130 years old and has innovated from media platform to media platform, from newspapers to magazines to broadcast television to cable television, and now diversifying into what we call business media, which are data and software businesses focused on 3 industry verticals. I think the quest for new ideas and for innovative ideas is just in the corporate DNA. So when we got started, it was 1995, and Hearst Ventures didn't exist. And Jim Clark and Mark Andreessen came around and said, we've got a company that it's looking for content on this new thing called the World Wide Web. Hearst, we're looking for a media company to invest right before we go public. Would you be willing to add some credibility to this deal? And, you know, hats off to the senior leadership, because whenever I talk about how Hearst Ventures got started and why it stays, you know, if you make your first investment in Netscape, it's a good program. So there has been a ton of growth in corporate venture, and there's a lot of interest in how you do it and how you do it well with staying power. I think, you know, we already talked about having senior commitment to the program, but I think the other thing is, you know, this idea of a professional venturing activity. So you have to pay attention to, you know, a real commitment to why you exist, understanding why you exist, because just wanting to make some money because the markets are hot is not a clear reason to exist. You have to have why you exist. You have to establish KPIs. You need all the structural things like a way to attract deal flow, a way to measure your deals, you know, syndication partners. You have to do a lot of hard work to make a commitment so that the corporation can say, yes, we've stood up what is a professional venture activity, as opposed to we're dabbling in it here, we won't do a deal for 2 years, and then we'll dabble in it there. There has to be real backing and professionalism around the effort. What we're doing is we're looking at the way technology will disrupt the industries that are important to the corporation. So we're not out there saying we're going to invest in, you know, vendors to magazines because we need for magazines to do better. We're out there investing in new media businesses that are being impacted, using technology to make an impact, because it affects our entire ecosystem. So, you know, that's why we do it, but all of the reasons for doing it are valid. When entrepreneurs ask me, I tell them, you just have to understand, you know, what the mission of your CVC is, your corporate venture capital investor is, and then you can decide, you know, is that the person you want to